Hi beauties, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to review MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation in shade NC46. So if you'd like to find out more, then just keep watching. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for joining me for today's video. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications. That way you won't miss any of my uploads. So here is my foundation. I have it in shade NC46. I have been wearing this foundation already and I have some opinions about the foundation. It comes in a traditional glass bottle where you will turn the opening like this to access the foundation. This is a 1 ounce bottle of foundation. So let me tell you a little bit about the foundation. It is a 24-hour breathable, soft, matte foundation. It has medium to full coverage. It is buildable and it controls oil, and it is also hydrating. On the MAC Cosmetics website, they go on to say the Studio Fix Fluid SPF 15 24-hour matte foundation plus oil control, and it also says our original matte foundation has been remastered. So I decided to purchase this foundation after it was remastered because I have never purchased this foundation before. I know, it's unbelievable. A lot of people who watch my channel have oftentimes asked me what was my MAC Cosmetics foundation shade, and I had never tried the foundation before. So I finally have tried it and I love it. But let's continue here. It also says the new Good For Skin formula is infused with 87% skincare ingredients, including sugar kelp extract to control oil, along with red algae extract and hyaluronic acid to hydrate the skin over time. The new Pro Fluid technology moves with skin for a natural look and comfortable, lightweight wear. It also talks about the pump. It says its new easy to apply pump lets you control your level of non-cakey coverage. The recyclable glass foundation bottle was crafted with sustainability in mind, and it now has 67 shades made for all skin tones and textures. There's lots of other information about the various benefits as well as the ingredients on the MAC Cosmetics website. So now that we know a little bit more about the foundation, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start by prepping my skin with the MAC Cosmetics Fix Plus. This is something I oftentimes will use to prep my skin, hydrate my skin. Love it. Have been using this for years. So let's prep the skin. And I just like to go over it with a beauty blender to just make sure that it is absorbed into my skin. For primer today, I'm going to use my e.l.f. Cosmetics primer. This is so good, guys. This is the Jelly Pop Dew Primer. It smells like watermelon and it's like a gripping primer. So I have really been loving this, so much so that I have repurchased it already in case it is kind of a temporary thing. And I also gave it away here on my channel. That's how much I've been loving it. It leaves your skin kind of tacky. All right, let's shake it up. I purchased mine at Ulta, and I'm going to start here with one pump. I purchased this at Ulta, and I don't know that I saw 67 shades in Ulta. If you happen to go to Ulta to look for this foundation, you can't find your shade match because they don't carry the whole range of shades. If that's the case, then I would definitely recommend visiting the MAC Cosmetics website or a MAC store to be able to see all of the shades, because I really don't remember seeing 67 shades. But of the shades that were available to me, this was the one that I thought was best suited for my skin tone, and it has been working wonderfully. So I'm going to start off with a brush. This is the BK Beauty 101 brush, and I'm going to start off with that on this side. I think that it recommends using a brush to apply the foundation, but I am going to use a beauty blender on the other side just so that we can see how it applies with a beauty blender. Didn't mean to go all the way up there, but it did. I want to see how it applies with a beauty blender. I've been applying it all this time with a brush, but I would like to know what a beauty blender does. So we'll just do 1/2 of my face for now with the brush. And I like to move quickly with this foundation because I have found that it sets pretty fast. So definitely think it's medium coverage, but if you continue to add in places where you need to, you can get buildable full coverage if you need to. So this is what one half of my face looks like. And as you can tell, my chest is a little lighter than my face, and my hands are darker. Like my hands are closer to like this side of my face. So once I apply it, while it looks a little lighter, I believe as it sets, it blends in more with my skin tone. But I also just like that even though it's a little lighter than the tone of my face, it does a good job of matching with my neck. What you select as far as the foundation shade for you depends on how you like for your foundation to look. I don't necessarily want an exact match to my face because I'm trying to match my face, my neck, you know, so this is appropriate for me. I kind of like this, especially because I'm going to bronze my skin and add other products, and I like to start with a little bit lighter base that will allow me to bronze. So now let's go ahead and do a second pump, and I feel like because I haven't used a beauty blender, I don't know for sure if this one pump will be enough for this side, just because usually with a beauty blender, it absorbs some of the product. So we'll see. I tend to use a brush these days more than I use a beauty blender. Even though I like beauty blender application, sometimes it's just the step of getting up, wetting the beauty blender, coming back. I'm recovering from a cold too, by the way, but just that extra step of getting up and wetting the beauty blender. When I'm going to work, I don't really have time for that. And so I have a tendency to prefer a brush just because it's faster. This is the HUDA Beauty Color Corrector in Mango. I'm just going to color correct. And what I will do today in this video is I'm going to complete my full face. I may speed through some parts, but we'll go at least slowly during this first part so that you can see what it looks like with concealer and powder, and then we'll speed through the rest. I like to color correct because I do have dark circles. I don't always have to, but we're going to do it today. The concealers that I've been using lately do a pretty good job of concealing dark circles on their own, but Color Corrector just makes that a little bit easier. I'm going to use my Natasha Denona concealer that I have been bragging about in shade NY11. Sonia G brush that they no longer make, but they make one similar. This is a classic base, and they don't make this anymore, but they make a brush that looks almost like this, but is a little smaller. I like using this to apply concealer because I can move faster and cover a larger amount of area. Even though these are nice, but they're small, so I just grab a big brush. I am going to go back over everything with my beauty blender to kind of make sure everything's blended. Now I'm going to use the Pat McGrath under eye setting powder with the long name in shade medium, and I like to use this under my eye. It just gives me the most gorgeous under eye. I like to use this first and then go back over it. And I think, like, you guys may notice, and I noticed this in my last video, I have two little small bumps right here on my face, and they're not going away. And if that continues to happen, then I will have to go back to my dermatologist, because I have a tendency, guys, sometimes to get cysts, little small cysts on my face that are not acne. And I usually get them on my forehead, and they will have to use a device to freeze it. They'll have to freeze it and scrape it off. And I'm thinking that that's what I have right here on my cheek. And I really don't want to have to freeze them and take them off, but I might have to. That's my first under eye step. And now I'm going to use my Laura Mercier powder. And I had gotten away from this powder, and I talked about this in a recent video that I'm falling in love with it again. This is one of those OG powders, of course. So I like to follow the Pat McGrath powder with a translucent powder. You don't have to use them both, but I like that. This is brush number 5, and it's from the Yano series that you can find on Beautylicious website. Now I'm going to take this La Mer powder brush, and I'm just going to saturate this brush with what's left of my powder to do the rest of my face. And honestly, the way this foundation feels, like if you're a person that doesn't use powder, it feels to be pretty self-setting. Like you don't have to use powder if you don't like powder. I like powder, but if you're not a powder person and you want to set your foundation with setting spray, you could do that, but I like powder. And as far as my skin type, I have combination skin. I tend to be oily in my T-zone and normal most other places. Sometimes I may get dry under my eye, but it just depends on the season. Sometimes I notice a little dryness, but most of the time I'm normal and oily in the T-zone. So this foundation is wonderful for me because it is oil controlling, and I can tell that it controls oil. I'm going to use the Benefit Precisely My Brow in shade 4.5 to sculpt my brows, and I will be right back. So I'm back. All right, we're going to dust off the powder, any excess. This is what I look like right after dusting off the powder, and I know it looks a little light at this moment, but remember, I haven't bronzed or completed my makeup look. I haven't set it with the setting spray, so it may look a little lighter right now because when you put on foundation, it sort of wipes out all of the natural contours of your face, and you have to put that back, which is what we're getting ready to do. At this point, everything feels very lightweight. It looks skin-like, even though I know I'm lighter at this point. It doesn't look like I have anything cakey on my face. So I'm liking how it feels right now. So now I'm going to complete my makeup look. I'm going to speed through this part and we will sum everything up at the end. Alright guys, so I'm back and I have completed my makeup look. I will link down in the description box all of the products that I used for today's look. I wanted to use as many MAC products as possible, so I have on a MAC lip liner, a MAC lipstick, but I also went back to my MAC, I think this was Mineralized Skin Finish is what this was called. This is the Dark Deepest is the shade, and it looks like this. It is a baked foundation that provides sheer coverage is how it's described. So I think a lot of people might just use it to sort of perfect the skin. If you're not a foundation wearer, you just use it to perfect your skin. You can get it in many shades. You could get this in a shade that is your skin tone and just use it kind of as a powder, or like I said, sheer coverage. In the past, we've used this as bronzer. I love this for the purpose of adding warmth to my skin. This is one that isn't very neutral on me. It is a warm kind of bronzing product when used that way, and you guys saw me use it and I just think it's beautiful. So anyway, just wanted to point that out. Of course, I have not had this on very long. I'm not going to do a wear test with this foundation because I have been wearing it now for a few weeks, and I can tell you a lot of what you might want to know about the foundation just based on my experience. So right now, as you can tell, it is a matte foundation. I did add like highlighter because I have another video to film. I added a full face here. It is a matte foundation, and it feels so super lightweight and comfortable on my skin. What I absolutely love about the foundation, it is oil controlling. It does wear all day. It is a 24-hour foundation, and you probably could keep it on for 24 hours, but it does wear all day and it looks good all day. So by the time I get home in the evening after a long 8-hour or 9-hour work day, depending on how long I work that day, my foundation still looks really good. I might powder one time during the day, like around my nose, some of the places where I get oily, but overall, I don't have to constantly powder my face all day. It doesn't break down and, you know, melt off of the skin at any point in the day. It is phenomenal. I'm not sure what the original formula was like because I did not purchase that one. However, this formula is amazing, and it is a very, very good long wearing, medium to full coverage, buildable foundation. I think that the match is really good. I know that while I was applying it, some of you might have been wondering, okay, is this going to be a little bit light? But based on how I apply other products to my face, I like this match for me. If you're a person that doesn't use bronzer and you want to find a foundation that is the exact shade of your skin tone and you don't apply anything else, then you may want to go a shade darker than this. If you're using me as a shade reference, maybe, but I like this particular shade for me. Another thing that I like, I'm 51 years old, and I think that this foundation is wonderful for mature skin. It does not accent the lines in my face, and it gives me just a very smooth canvas. I have some foundations where it really settles in your smile lines, so when you're not smiling, you see like these lines very prominently, like they really show up on your skin, and this foundation does not do that. It does not settle into any lines on my face, so it looks really good on my more mature skin. I absolutely love this foundation. In 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long I've been wearing this, it has made it to Holy Grail status. I will repurchase this when I empty it, and hopefully will never be without it. This is like one of the best out there, if not the best, that you can buy, especially in this price range. There are other foundations that I like for other reasons. I have foundations that are more hydrating. Like, well, this one is a very hydrating foundation, but I have other foundations that are not meant to be matte. And if I'm looking for a more dewy complexion, I might use one of those foundations. And they're also beautiful, like my Chanel #1 foundation. I love that foundation as well. I love Makeup Forever. I think that this one actually looks better on my skin than the two I just named. I like the Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation. Like, there are some really great foundations on the market, but I have not wanted to put this down since I purchased this foundation. I have been loving it that much. I know that from now on, if I'm going to have a long evening and I need to have this foundation on for a while and I need it to be budge proof, I know that if I'm going to take photos in it or for video, that I'm going to want to reach for this foundation because it is that good. It is that gorgeous. As I said, I'm not going to do a wear test on this foundation to prove to you guys how good it is, but I'm telling you right now, it is amazing foundation. It does everything that it says it does, and the fact that it has the 67 shades is wonderful. As I said, this was the best match for me. I did have maybe a couple of choices at Ulta, and this was the one that I liked for how I wear my foundation. I think it's a really great shade match. It has just the right amount of warmth, and it adds a little room for me to be able to bronze my skin, as I said before. If you want to use me as a shade reference and you apply your makeup similarly to me, then this may be a great match. I'll also link in the description box some of my favorite foundations that are a good match for me. And I also filmed a video here on my channel where I was testing out various foundations looking for my best match. I thought that that was a very good experiment, and it showed me some of my foundations that are really good matches and some that are just okay. So I will link that as well if you're looking for other foundations that are a good match and you use me as a shade reference. So I just wanted to do this video because so many people had talked about this particular foundation to me over the years, and with it being reformulated, I had to have it finally to see if this was a good foundation for me, and it is. I hate that it took me so long to try it because I bet the old formula was fantastic too, but this one is wowing me in a big way. So thank you so much for joining me for today's video. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I will respond. And if you've not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button before you leave. So I'll be seeing you guys again very soon in my next video. So until the next time we meet again, this is Savvy signing out.